That's part of the Batman thing. It's like Batman's an idea. He could be anybody.
Yeah.
You know, a really rich person.
Yeah.
Could
be any really rich person with a heart of gold.
Hello and welcome to the Imperative Narrative Podcast, the show by storytellers, about storytellers, and for storytellers. We're your host, Kurt Camphausen.
And I'm Lucas Arnold, and today we are joined by the Literock Batman. Thanks for being on the show.
What's up? That's not my voice, by the
way. Perfect intro.
I feel like that was like you guys have seen Princess Bride, right?
We're
like the pit of despair. Don't even think about trying to escape. Like, that's just what happened
so
there.
That's got to be what Christian Bale did. Like after everything,
yeah, just like coughing.
Can I get some tea and some lozenges?
They digitized his voice in the other ones.
Do they really?
The first one was his real voice, which if you listen to it, it's not so bad. The other two, rough.
Yeah,
just get some trivia in there.
Ooh,
some bat trivia.
Man,
we have some more of that.
Yeah,
this is awesome having you on. You've become a local hero and legendary person in the Central Arkansas area in particular. So how did this all start?
Well, let me take you back to 2016.
All right.
Way long time ago. It started, I listened to a lot of the news. I do manual labor, not just crime fighting, believe it or not. And it was just bad news all the time, specifically shootings. Everywhere you look, it's just like, man, rough. It's not what you want the world to be, I guess. And I was just thinking about the toll it takes on your mind. Just no matter what you do, you always just unexpectedly get hit with something that is awful, you know? So the thought was like, man, I wish you could just see something unexpectedly like awesome or good or funny or just anything that's unexpected but cool, like something you want to see. And I was like, man, I wish I could see just Batman walk around right now. And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to dress up like Batman and walk around just everywhere. So... yeah,
and the dream was born.
The dream was born.
Literally everywhere. You were just in, where were you just at? Ireland?
Ireland.
And you were dressed as Batman.
Yeah.
That is fantastic.
I got a few Irish followers. If you're watching this, hey.
How was security getting to those airports?
It was fine. I was a little worried about it. Madrid was the most sketcy, but it was fine. We were good.
So bad news. You wish you could see Batman, and you're like, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
And then you just started walking around, you started an Instagram page, or like, how does that start?
So for like 6 months, I put together the suit, the Mark I suit, the gray and black.
Nice.
Classic. And then one day I just went to the Heights and started with the Heights. Seemed like I don't know, people wouldn't shoot me there. Which that has been a problem. People have really thought I was here to rob them or something and gone for weapons, but we're good. We're good.
You're here.
Wow.
You're
I'm
here.
here.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, for me, it's sort of like an armor because I'm putting myself out there in a lot of ways. I'm trying to like help people. This is like my way to try to help things, I guess. And it makes it so it's not necessarily me. And then if I get, a bunch of followers, it's not me they're following, it's Batman. So that's why I can never reveal myself, my identity or myself.
And we won't hear.
Yeah. And
we'll do it.
I get that question all the time if I'm ever gonna like show who I am and all this, but
he actually blindfolded us and brought us to the studio today.
I did, and I knocked them out.
Just hijacked it.
Yeah, I think it's important that it's not like a person, It's like Batman, and that allows this armor not just for myself but for them. It like maintains this dream, and it keeps it from like idolizing an individual, more an idea. That's part of the Batman thing. It's like Batman's an idea. He could be anybody. A really rich person.
Yeah.
Could be
any really rich person with a heart of gold.
That's so, well, I mean, it's totally taken off. I mean, you have thousands of followers on the interwebs. I mean, so people, I mean, you appear to have been right. People are really responding to it and they love it.
Yeah. Well, and that wasn't the goal necessarily. I was just like, I should put this on Instagram. And yeah, people have responded well to it.
Yeah. So what do you do as Batman? What are some of the things that encapsulate your day when you put on the mask?
Well, first I have to get it on, which is a process. I had to watch a whole VeggieTales episode probably while trying to get that thing on. So that's the thing.
That's the whole VeggieTales episode?
Yeah.
Oh my
Good
God.
30-minute chunk there.
Yeah. That's awesome.
So that's the first step. It takes a minute. But yeah, it just kind of depends. I go to different parts of town. When it's hot, like today and probably for a while now, I bring water and stuff. I have the bat ice chest. My pronunciation's off because I can't hear myself.
The headphones are just for fun.
Yeah,
by
they're
the
just
way.
for
He
show.
can't hear
Yeah.
a thing.
Yeah.
It's because they told me I'd be in a helicopter, so I brought them.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we just go around town. And again, it allows that armor so no one knows it's me. I adopted Robin. So Robin, who we'll have to have on here sometime. He's awesome.
Yeah. That's Little Rock Boy Wonder, right?
Yeah, Little Rock Boy Wonder. And he had honestly a harder job than me because his mask just covers a little bit of his face. So he has like all the expression and everything. Like if I blush right now, you really probably won't know.
Yeah.
You know, but Boy Wonder, he takes it. He did it well. He was only 16 when he started. So
Wow.
he was awesome.
So
He's got Batgirl.
who all is in the troupe? Yeah. So Batman, Little Rock Boy Wonder, Robin. There's
Batgirl, Little Rock, Arkansas Black Panther, Arkansas Deadpool started not too long ago.
Okay. All right.
We've got Logan, just a few different people, kind of unofficially official. Call it the Bat Fam.
Wow.
Nice.
And it all started with you. You were the first one.
Yeah, I mean, I was the first in our squad. There's been people in and out. None that have done exactly what I've done though.
Yeah.
Everyone always shows their face because they're weak. Shots fired.
I get a lot of angry fan mail from now on.
Yeah.
Just on a personal level, obviously we won't tell people what your real name is, but just on a personal level, how big of like a comic book fan nerd are you?
Oh yeah, it's
a bit like from a scale of 1 to 10. Where are you?
I mean, I would say I'm a strong 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a strong 10. It's always been a huge part of who I am. Growing up, just stories and general stories. I mean, this is all about stories, is it not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
imperative narrative.
title there.
Yeah.
Stories have driven pretty much everything I've done my entire life, more so than most folks, believe it or not. So yeah, I've always associated greatly with superheroes and what that stands for and what that means. You know, they're the American Greek gods, essentially.
Yeah. And so you do a lot of work with homeless people, like walking around helping them out, then birthday parties, things like that. How did you come up with some of these ideas of like what you were actually going to do for this stuff?
Well, I've always really been drawn to the homeless. I don't know, that's always been not for any particular reason other than just they're people you see all the time, and being downtown a lot just in my life. It's something you see a homeless person and your initial instinct usually for a lot of people is to look away. You know what I mean? You're afraid to get in a conversation and shake up your day. So again, that was sort of the point of the whole Batman thing is it's pretty hard to ignore Batman. People try. It's pretty embarrassing. They just try to act like they're not seeing it.
He's not here.
Yeah, they really try to. But just the thought of rather than hiding from that, like taking it to the next level and then like diving right into that sort of world. And then birthday parties actually began as a way of like, I was like, man, I got to pay off this suit somehow. But now I don't take money for them now. It was just, I didn't feel right about it. I did for a little bit. I don't feel right about it.
Yeah.
Sorry to everybody who I've already had a birthday party with. I've got a sale going on now. Though, so.
Buy one, get one free. Maybe.
Yeah, exactly.
Come back,
there you go.
redeem the second birthday
all
party.
free now. Yeah, exactly.
That's fantastic. So obviously in doing this, you probably have a lot of crazy stories. Like just, first of all, I did not know that you had some weapons drawn or going for weapons, things like that. Where it's like,
they didn't straight up draw them, but
I didn't, it didn't even enter my mind. Like obviously we see your Instagram account. So it's like, okay, well, yeah, we know he's Little Rock Batman, you know, whatever. But like, not knowing context of who you are and then you just appearing, I could see where somebody would just be like, what is happening?
Yeah, what is going on?
I gotta protect myself from this guy.
Yeah.
Like what's some of those stories? What's happened?
I mean, it's a few things. What's really interesting is you encounter a lot of like mental illness, I guess, just walking around in the streets. And you're sort of just like Batman, just slapping, like going right into that world. You know what I mean? So definitely had threats of like knife things. So that's always fun. Yeah, I went to get my haircut once and everybody like went for their belts and they were like, I was like, it's cool, it's cool, it's cool. I'm not here to harm you. One time there was a competition to see, it was at a haircut place. like if you can do 25 pull-ups, you get a free haircut, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And the haircut was $25.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I wonder if I can do 25 pull-ups in my bat suit. So I did 30, and then I tipped the guy 25. Like the amount I would have.
Wow.
Solid.
Nice.
It's not a very good story, but
that's cool.
It's
It's a pretty good story. Yeah.
it's all right.
That's awesome.
Yeah, my favorite thing is just seeing people's reactions right at the start. The Instagram account really probably captures just a little bit of what I do, just because it just is when somebody I so happen am able to have somebody with a camera like come with me, you know what I mean? And that's not most of the time. So it's just being able to see people's faces, and it'd be awesome to get a video crew to follow me sometime. Little kids, it's like their dreams just like come true, or they're terrified.
Yeah. That's great.
We talked about off air. So what's like the line, like ages of like kids that adore you and kids that are just like, terrified of you?
Yeah, and I mentioned it before. I would say 6 and up, like it's the absolute, it's like heaven now, you know?
Yeah.
And 6 and below, maybe 4 and below. 5 is like it could go either way, but 4 and below is like, this is the absolute end of the world. Yeah. Reality is broken.
Yeah.
Yeah, people are screaming for their parents. It's great.
That's so funny.
I walk into a room and cause chaos.
Yeah. How do you like go about walking into that to like not terrify people, or try to approach people and be like, I'm not trying to rob you, or like
it's a little bit of both.
Thought.
So I did the Batman voice for a little while, and it just never went over well because people need to hear right away. I actually softened my voice. I'm like, hey, like immediately. I walk by and I'm like, hey, what's up? That's like what I do every time. I never am like, you want to get a picture, you know?
Yeah.
Because I don't want them to think I'm doing it for tips. I never accept tips for that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So it's like, hey, what's going on? And we go from there. But besides that, the general entry, I just walk right in there, see what happens.
Oh, that's so funny.
You just gotta get in there.
Hello, children.
Yeah. I'm just curious about this on a personal level, because I'm just like, I could not do what you're doing. I just have like, I care so much about this little insight into who I am. I care a lot about what people think about me. And I feel like if I'm put on the spot, like if I walk in and I have to interact with people and try to be someone like a Batman, where obviously you're playing yourself in a sense. You're not going to be someone you're not. But I love what you're doing. And I'm just going, I just feel like I couldn't ever do something like that. Is this something like if you could go back pre-2016, and you fast forward to this moment right now, maybe not just the fact that you're on this podcast, but just in your life in general, you're doing this, would you ever think, yeah, I could totally see myself doing that? Or were you like not wired that way at all?
I mean, I've always been, it's an interesting question. Me and my buddy, I probably shouldn't say his name, but the first time I ever did anything like that was the premiere of The Dark Knight Rises. We went as like 2 Batmen.
Okay.
And it was a little bit more goofy. The suits were totally goofy. So people look at you and they just kind of laugh, and it's like, makes sense in the scenario.
Right.
But the idea of going into a place where like nobody's thinking, hey, I'm about to see Batman right now, that's a little bit more scary. And I don't know if it was just a perfect chain of events that led me to be like, I can do this or what. But yeah, every time before I go, I'm sitting in the car because I can't drive with the mask on, and I just look so stupid because I'm like got the mask off and the rest of the gear. Every time I consider not doing it, every time I'm like, I don't know if I can do this. Like, I don't know. Even at a birthday party, I'm like, I don't know. But as soon as I get that mask on and march in there, and you see the faces, I think that's what really does it. You see like faces of fear, the faces of joy, you know?
Yeah.
You're like, okay, I get this.
But
yeah, I'm not gonna lie. It's not like an easy thing necessarily.
I guess you're performing basically.
Yeah.
So it's almost like those nerves before a performance or something.
Exactly. It's a performance. Yeah. It's a little bit of both. I'm not going full Batman. It might be easier for me if I did. Yeah. I don't think that's what people need necessarily. They need to like be like, oh, this is a dude.
Personal. Yeah.
It's a dude, but it's also Batman.
Yeah.
A Bat dude.
Bat dude.
Go rename the Instagram account.
Yeah.
No, I think, but that kind of, the three of us, we all love comic book movies. I mean, that personifies like, I know it's hard for us to relate because you see these huge name actors playing these superheroes, but in the essence, I mean, we just saw Spider-Man Far From Home, and the essence is like, there's this 16-year-old kid in Peter Parker who like never could have dreamed that something like that would have happened. I mean, that's overall, and that's the essence of just about all of them. And so I love that that's who you are. I mean, you could be that guy with a couple $1 billion.
That's interesting.
You could be Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, you're right. You're not wrong. Yeah. A funny little like roundabout in my story. Spider-Man used to be my guy, like 100% when I was little. I just loved freaking Spider-Man. For a second, some followers might know I used to be the Little Rock Spider-Man for a very brief period of time. I hope that doesn't like, ruin anybody's life.
Wow.
Like super brief. Literally, I did a 5K in a Spider-Man suit, and I was like, Little Rock Spider-Man. But so after 2016, after the first time I went out as Batman, actually, I got like super sick. I started losing a ton of weight. I was, working out a lot and everything, and I lost like 40 pounds or something crazy. Probably 30 pounds. Don't want to exaggerate that much. But so it turns out I had ulcerative colitis, which is really similar to Crohn's disease. It's in the same thing, essentially. So yeah, for 3 months, it was like, it was rough. I was super anemic. And I managed to get out there as Batman when I could, but it was rough. My suit didn't fit like at all. My skin tight suit was like kind of sagging on me. If you look back at my earliest pictures, you can see it.
Yeah. Wow.
But that like hardened something in me, sort of a drive similar to, I hate to be like Batman, but Batman as a character, but that's the whole thing of Batman is that he's just a dude, he's just literally a guy. He doesn't have the superpowers and he doesn't have, whatever. He's got money, but ignore that. Yeah, he's just a guy, and that's what I had to realize how weak my body was, I guess. And I had to realize, honestly, this is kind of dark, but I had to kind of accept death in a way because I didn't know if I was going to make it at all. And I didn't know what my life would be like afterwards. So that's a big part of who I am in general. I have to be super careful about what I eat, and I have to like maintain exercise. I have to take cold showers because it keeps the inflammation in my body down. So it all kind of ties together in this like drive to be Batman because it's like he's a dude and I'm a dude, and I don't know.
That's really cool.
Yeah, that is awesome.
Yeah.
And like how like in your weakest moment, in a sense, you can like relate to this character, but you channel something in you where you're like, I want to do something for others through this. That's why, you're not, that's the cool thing. Like we live in an age where people take pictures of themselves and they post it online. It's like this fun thing.
And then they take off the mask so everyone knows who they are.
Exactly. Yeah.
just gonna add, sorry, don't hate us. You can totally come on the show. Sorry.
But there is something more substantial there that has given you, I think, more credibility with the community, and that's just exciting to see that this is more than just a fad. This thing's been going on for a couple of years already, and it's still trucking along.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
And you're also obviously not at that point now because you are, I know, very in shape and you work out a lot, exercise.
Gained 50 pounds.
Yeah, gaining weight, and that's a goal, is trying to gain weight and stuff. How does fitness influence this whole journey and story that you're doing?
Yeah, it's a big thing. People message me a lot, DM me all the time about like workout stuff, and even in my personal life and my non-Batman life, it's a huge passion for me I hate, people feeling bad about themselves or where they are physically, or that's another passion of mine, is trying to help pull people out of that. And I post, like workout pictures more so for the response, not so much like look at what I'm doing, but more like to get people to feel like they can talk to me about fitness stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's something that matters a lot to me. We're spiritual beings and we're minds, but we're also bodies, and your body affects your mind quite a bit.
This episode is going way deeper, by the way, than I ever thought it would. It is awesome.
Yeah.
Did you hear hey, we're going to do Little Rock Batman. This is going to be fun. But I love it. Man, this is so great.
It's great.
It's great.
With that, what does that look like? What's your goals in fitness and I guess what all do you do? Because I know you do a little bit of a lot, a lot of different things.
Yeah, my personal goals, well, I feel like I really spat on that thing. Little bat spit.
Yeah.
You might be able to sell it.
Yeah.
It's now a more powerful microphone because of you. Yeah.
Yeah. So for a while it was just to gain weight. And I would say now, I just want to, it's a weird word, but robust, I guess, trying to make myself strong in a lot of different categories. And I honestly never know if I'm going to get sick again. It's a chronic illness. It's something I always have to deal with. So the more robust of a physique, not robust in like gigantic, but strong tendons, strong heart, strong gut and stuff. The stronger I can be in every way, the more prepared I'll be in the future if something does happen. And also, you know, you want to be, this is the only body I'll have as long as I'm on this earth, you know? Mm-hmm. So I want to ride it out pretty well, you know, as well as I can. Yeah. One of the toughest times. Sorry, I'm kind of ADD because I have all this junk on my face.
Yeah.
It's like distracting.
Yeah. No.
It's like
I don't know.
I have an itch on my head. Yeah. I'm just going to ignore that.
Yeah. Just kink.
Yeah.
I don't know how you've been so focused. I think I would have taken it off at this point.
Yeah.
When I'm back, if I ever talk to you while I'm in the suit, sorry if I sound really distracted. I'm just, you know, I'm trying to survive. But, one of the toughest points I was at physically, I try to on Christmas Eve go out. We do like a Batman Operation Christmas Bat. That's what I call it. Hashtag. It hasn't really stuck, but I'm trying to make it. I wear like a Santa hat and stuff, but I had just gotten over my big flare up is what it's called. And I was so weak and my tendons, because of the medicine I was on, were super brittle. You know, it's a controversial medicine now. So I'm carrying this ice chest full of like, like Christmas goodies, you know, like little dollar store things, and like something in my chest kind of popped, you know, but it's like, I'm surrounded by all these people and they're here to see Batman. It's like, I just got to like push through it. And it's something I make that walk all the time, like River Market, Main Street, you know, homeless shelter. Like I do that walk all the time, but it was like, and it was kind of sleeting a little bit. It was super cold and my body, I've spent my whole life. I used to be a swimmer. I was training I had some almost Olympic times, almost. Wow. So I spent my whole life training and I'm able to like, I'm really in touch with like where I'm at physically. And I could tell, I was like, man, this is pushing it too far. But I just had to push right through it. I can't remember where I was going. Oh, that was just that was a low point for me. You know what I mean? Was that moment. And then laying in the hot bath because I just didn't have it in me to take a cold bath.
Yeah.
Trying to recover. It took a long time to recover, but I always have those like memories, and I appreciate the gift of health, I guess. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think near-death experiences allow you to appreciate such things, and allows you to appreciate other people. Many, many, many other people have it a lot worse, and don't make it near as long. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I'm honestly very, very fortunate to have made it as well as I have with ulcerative colitis, because most people really don't. You know, I don't remember what the question was, but
just goals and fitness. And what you do, because I know you do some CrossFit. You do, but you do a lot of variety of things.
Mm-hmm. So again, I used to be a swimmer. So I do swimming when I can. I do some open water races and stuff. Not in the mask. I should.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be so great. That'd be underwater Batman swimming. Yeah. Oh my gosh. That'd be good.
Yeah.
Full suit.
Yeah.
Just cape and everything.
By the way, I talked about this the other day, but one time I went to like a public pool and a little girl dropped her earring in the deep end. And she was like, Batman, will you get my earring? And I was like, oh yeah, I'll get this earring. And I just dove off the diving board, just like not thinking about the logistics of that. And my cape is it's like canvas and satin, like full circle. Like it's a huge cape. Yeah. And it instantly turned like 80 pounds underwater, just like pulling my neck down.
Oh no.
And these little kids are like watching me and I'm like, I'm like trying not to die, trying to untie. And I have my gloves on too, you know? So
yeah.
It was rough, but I survived.
Good.
That is good.
All I have to say, don't swim with a cape, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh my gosh.
That was great. Yeah, but swimming, I do some CrossFit just because nothing I feel like just like kicks your face as much as CrossFit does.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It reminds me of swimming in that way. Now he's invisible. Imagine if you were with like a squad of superheroes and one of the guys is just like that's his power, that he's invisible. Like this is what it would be like all the time. Say, right? You know, you just have to like hope you're making eye contact. You're not like sure how tall he is.
Yeah. He just like leaves the room from it. He's like, I'm really hungry.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna walk out, come back.
Like sitting 100 feet away. What an idiot. You look so dumb. Like he's talking to me. I'm not a CrossFitter. Yeah. Well, I'm not anything right now, actually.
Yeah. That's A-okay.
I feel like CrossFit. Well, it's not okay. I need to get back to it. But yeah, CrossFit. I did it with my sister recently. Well, my sister's just really into it. I almost died. I felt like it
takes a long time to get into.
Yeah, it wasn't even that hard of it. I feel like it was by CrossFit standards. It wasn't that difficult, but I was just like, I almost passed out.
Yeah. CrossFit's interesting. I feel like it gets a bad rep, and for some justified reasons. But I think it's done more good than harm, really.
Yeah.
What's cool about it is they're really passionate about like anybody can do this, which sometimes is not the best thing if you're like trying to get like a 60-year-old to throw a ton of weight over their head.
Yeah.
But what's really cool is, they don't care what weight you are, what age you are. It's the invisible guy doing the invisible thing.
He sounds today.
I can't really hear it, by the way. I just saw you react.
That's great. Man, you've got this Batman thing down. He's just like, that noise over there. And
just
the Batman.
He's invisible.
I just follow the guidance.
That's
so gang, I mean, I'm not trying to take away. I think the working out thing is cool. I'm just curious though. What is like the coolest reaction that you've gotten, either on like online or in person?
Well, one of the personally coolest things was I met the dude who played Boba Fett, which was awesome.
The original Boba Fett?
So there were two guys who played Boba Fett. This is the guy who played Boba Fett when Vader's like, no disintegrations,
Right.
And then
original trilogy.
Original trilogy. Yeah. And he also was the Boba Fett in Bespin where he's like, oh, what does he say? He's like, he's no good to me dead. He's that guy. As Han's getting tortured.
Yeah.
So I got to meet him. He's also Dak, which is like a random character, but he's in the back of the snow speeder,
Huh. Yeah.
He's who shoots the cord and Luke wraps his legs up. He's also that guy.
Okay.
So I met him at Comic-Con and he was like, man, I'm a huge fan. And he's not talking about Little Rock Batman, but he's talking about Batman. But just to see the guy who played Boba Fett tell me that like he's a huge fan of me was pretty awesome.
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
That's just high level. Like,
so you gone to Comic-Con in character?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah. I went to New York Comic-Con this past time. I'm planning to go again, which is pretty neat. I've made a lot of friends. My good buddy, Colt of the Batman on Instagram, I met him through Instagram, and I go up and stay in the Colt Cave.
Nice.
So he's pretty awesome. He's a cool guy. He had the first like Batman fan page on Instagram when Instagram came out.
Wow.
Yeah.
So he's got like 80,000 followers or something wild. He's a cool guy. What was the question? Best reaction?
Yeah. Well, just like best, like, I don't know, like if it was a kid just like losing their mind or even just someone noteworthy in the community.
One thing that comes to mind, I think about often was on one of our, made it sound.
No, you're good.
One of our Operation Christmas Bat episodes. Guess they're not episodes. Felt like, I don't know. But it's Christmas Eve. And you're walking around downtown, so you see all different people. You see like people with a bunch of bags, like super pumped to go to their families and whatnot. But you also see kind of solemn, sad people. So there's this girl sitting outside of work, I guess on break, she had an apron on, like smoking a cigarette, she was just looking really down, And I walked up and she looked at me, and the look, it was crazy. Like I don't know. I might be putting this like in there because I like stories, but the look she gave me was like, she expected another disappointment, sort of, as if I was going to be like, you want to take a picture for $10 or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
She just gave me this really kind of hurt look, and then I was like, hey. And then like something in her expression changed. So like, it was exactly why I started doing everything. You know what I mean? I saw it go from like, who knows what her story is? She might have worked through that Christmas. She might not have a family. Who knows? But she saw me and her like whole face lit up, and I don't know, just a really cool thing. It's a really simple thing. I've had so many like reactions. It's hard to pin one down, but that one always stands out to me. It's that stark difference in her face.
Yeah. We ask a lot, just like obstacles and things like that come up. And so, I mean, it sounds like you've had a lot of obstacles, like even just health wise, things like that. And you're kind of touching on this a little bit about those moments there, but like what kind of gets you through some of those down times or those low times, or even like you're talking about the nervous times before you put the mask on, and that driving moment of once you're in there and seeing that. Is that kind of what that, and is there anything else that kind of helps like push you through those times?
Yeah, I think oftentimes people like kind of receive these questions and are like, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. But I feel like when I hear this sort of question, the first thing I think is like, see the person you want to be and go after it, that kind of thing. But at least for me, I don't know, that's not really it at all. it's really important for me to be mindful of where I am in life, and that's also a part of my like sickness is that I have to stay. I can't let stress like overwhelm me because it all has to do with my inflammation levels and all this. So I don't know. It's like it's an attempt to really be there, I guess. You know what I mean? Like this is my life. You know, like who am I guess that's always kind of the question, like who am I, what am I, not like how much money do I make or what do I do for a living or anything like that, but just like what kind of person am I in this moment, you know? Am I gonna be afraid? And if so, that's okay, that's who I was. But I don't know, I want to be the person that I want to be, I guess. You know?
That's been a theme. Not really a theme, but we talked about a couple of times of how money, especially from an entrepreneurial perspective, and I really think this is a big time entrepreneurial endeavor of yours, even if it's not monetarily a big thing and that's intentional on your part. But you know, we've just talked with other people about, I mean, if you do certain things for money, you're gonna be sorely disappointed. I mean, even if it's like what we do as filmmakers, or if you're a photographer or whatever, like you have to love what you do. And so when did that change for you from going from, you know, man, I want to be successful from a money standpoint to now this point where you're like, who cares? Like, I want to help people. And when did that was there a moment where that clicked?
Well, within the Batman thing, honestly, I was like, part of me was saying like, you spent like a lot of money putting together a really legit bat suit, you know, like you're going to be really kind of foolish if you don't try to make some of this money back, or if you don't try to like turn this into a business or something. But every time I did it, it just didn't feel right. It's like, it's not what that's supposed to be. You know what I mean? So in this case, in this endeavor of mine, this is what it was exactly. I was paid to a dude who had an awesome restaurant. I would stand outside with a sign, you know, he paid me. He's like, hey, will you stand outside with a sign for me to do this? And I saw it like the same reaction I always see, like little kids, like, and parents, like, they like Batman. And they come up to me and then they see I have like a sign and they're like, oh, this is like a gimmick thing. And they like, oh, no, we're not interested. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. And I was like, oh man, like that's not why I started doing this, you know? And I was never making just an obscene amount of money or anything like that. It was just, I just did what I guess I thought I was supposed to be doing, you know? Like adults don't dress up like Batman and walk around town just to do it.
It kind of cheapened what you wanted.
Yeah, it diluted my mission, I guess.
Yeah.
And I mean, I was happy to do that for that. I would have done that if he had asked me, but it was just knowing that I was paid to do that, I guess. Yeah. Like got me. I don't explicitly ask for money anymore at all with things because I'm Batman.
Yeah. That's great. What so obviously there's a lot more superheroes in here and even in Little Rock. What advice would you have for anybody who would want to be doing something and wanting to do maybe this specifically, but also wanting to do something that just is trying to help people, that isn't necessarily, you know, the superhero route, but what advice would you have?
I think it's a combination of things. It's like a balance between taking yourself out of the equation, but also seeing where your gifts are, I guess, you know? So my gifts are, in this case, I was like, I love Batman enough that I'm just going to be Batman.
And that is a gift.
Yeah, but you know, it can be different for anybody. But then once you found that gift, once you find what you're wanting to do, you need to take yourself out of that. It's not about you, really. You know what I mean? This is about your mission. Yeah. Should you choose to accept it. But yeah. That's a little tidbit there. Yeah. Put on a fortune cookie.
One thing that I really like about this is not only do you have this idea and you're executing on it, like you're going out and you're doing things, but you've partnered with a lot of really talented photographers and media creators too. I mean, I'm looking at your Instagram feed now and it just looks pretty. Like it's not just, you know, you have some where it's like, hey, I'm taking a selfie of this, but then you also have some that are just like professional grade photography.
I don't know how you work out in the mask. It's
not pleasant.
What was the process for that? And like was that a conscious decision to have like a higher quality in that kind of thing? What was the
well yeah, I would say from the start I didn't want to do just like cell phone pictures and stuff. I wanted this to be like, so in person you get the wow effect of like, oh man, Batman in a suit. But if I just tried to do that on my phone, you wouldn't get that effect when you see it on something like Instagram, and I want that effect of like someone sees it on their maybe explore page, like, they doing a new Batman movie, and they're like, is this dude just walking around in a bat suit? You know what I mean? I wanted that like cinematic thing, and fortunately, very blessed to be around a lot of talented photographers and videographers, and videography, film, that all matters a lot to me. So we all crank it together. It's a few people. How to get everybody little cheap masks and do like a bat support crew picture or something.
That'd be awesome. And we do have like I got to work with you on one of these short little films that will be out by the time this podcast is released. So
cool.
Definitely check that thing out because that's going to be fun, and hopefully we'll be able to do more in the future. But
and I just get to watch it all. It's gonna be great.
Yeah.
I have nothing to do with it. It's gonna be awesome.
You got to look at it and critique it.
Yes,
so.
This is true. This is true.
Yeah.
What are your like favorite? I mean, you're a filmmaker guy. You like movies. What are your favorite movies? Are they comic book movies?
Let's start with what is your favorite Batman movie?
What's your favorite Yeah, that's good.
We have to ask that one.
Yeah. And who's your favorite Batman?
That's tough. It all depends. Everything's in tiers for me, But I think the best just like Batman movie is probably Batman Begins, because of it stays very true to Batman's like original story. Christian Bale's an excellent Batman, and that's before, if you look all the jokes about Batman's voice, Christian Bale's voice and all that, all start with The Dark Knight and The Dark Knight Rises, but Batman Begins is a perfect like starting point for his story. You could end that there and like anything could happen. He could go on to fight Poison Ivy, like you don't know, anything could happen. The other movies are great, but I think that's the most solid, like true to the original story Batman movie.
That is, and it's it's overlooked because of Dark Knight and because of Heath Ledger, but I haven't seen that in a while. I forget how good. Yeah, Liam Neeson.
Great.
And the lines, there's so many lines I quote to myself all the time from freaking Batman Begins. My favorite line, honestly, like the very last line, Gordon's like, I never said thank you. And Batman's like, and you'll never have to. Yeah. He just jumps off the thing, and you're like, oh my gosh, why? Like, why is that so epic? It shouldn't be.
Yeah.
And from a filmmaking standpoint, from a filmmaking standpoint, that's Nolan's thing, is the catharsis, which is like that moment of everything comes together in this perfect way. And that's Nolan's obsession, really. It's in all of his movies. He has this moment where sort of the theme is explicitly stated, which is interesting. Not many movies do that. They explicitly state the theme, and they like drop a key in the music. That's Hans Zimmer, rocking it. But it all just comes together to give you this moment of like, oh, who am I? I don't remember anything. This is great.
That's so great.
Yeah, I love Nolan.
So your favorite Batman would probably be Christian Bale then, I would guess.
Yeah.
Or do you have to judge like Batman and who's a good Bruce Wayne? Because I hear that argument. To me, I'm just like, that seems like it's overcomplicated.
Yeah, it is kind of complicated. I think Christian Bale has captured just like the pain of Batman in a more realistic way than anybody else.
Yeah.
Ben Affleck was great. Really, everybody was great in their own way. You also have to, I think it's really important, especially when you're watching a movie that was previously a book, to be able to separate it as a different form of storytelling. So within movies, different universes, you have to be able to step back. This is their universe. So how do they tell the story pushing forward? Even Clooney, honestly, is a pretty good Batman for that movie.
I forget about George Clooney.
Yeah.
Oh, my word.
Yeah. Although he'll apologize. He'll refund you the movie ticket money if you tell him you didn't like it.
Oh my God. Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So I'm trying to think here. Outside of the TV series, well, I mean, we have Adam West from the TV series. Michael Keaton, I guess, in film was the first one. And then Val Kilmer, then George Clooney and Christian Bale. Is that it?
Yeah. And then Kevin Conroy is the animated Batman.
Yeah, Kevin Conroy.
Who's coming to Little Rock, by the way.
Yeah,
wow.
That's exciting.
Are you going to try to meet him?
Yeah. I'm going to try to do the like, I am vengeance speech with him. I am the night. It'll be good.
So we, like you said, we just got back from watching Spider-Man, and the second Joker trailer just played.
The second trailer? Oh my gosh, I haven't seen it.
Dude, so excited.
Yeah.
It looks so good. And more just from, in my personal opinion, Joaquin Phoenix himself is such a great actor. And just seeing the brief glimpses that you get to see, he looks like he's doing an incredible job. Like Heath Ledger is just fantastic. Mm-hmm. Like he was absolutely great at the Joker. Mm-hmm. I feel like this one, kind of like what you're saying, is a different universe where it's like, kind of have to separate them to not be like, well, he's no Heath Ledger, you know?
Yeah.
Exactly. It's an entirely different type of Joker. Mm-hmm. But man, he looks so good in this movie. I'm so stoked.
Yeah. So it's incredibly cool with the Joker thing specifically. I could go on a bit of a tangent about this. I'm going to try to not. Also,
you can go on a little bit of a tangent.
I can't hear myself very well. So if I stutter or something.
I'm trying. It's all the way up.
So. Oh, no, it's totally me. Yeah. So Lee Bermejo, awesome Batman artist, mentioned this on the Bat Force podcast, which is awesome, Bat Force Radio. He's a Batman artist. I already said that. So the Marvel Universe movies are pretty awesome. Like, it's pretty awesome how they've managed to create this whole thing, which is it's just amazing to tie these movies together in this way. But because of that, they've had to maintain a very similar feel and a mise en scène, to get like film termy, which is like how the feel and the pace of it all relates, the tones and everything. So that's given people a very cut and dry way to tell a story, you know? And what's unfortunate about that is that certain characters could be told in a far more abstract way. Like Black Panther did it a bit with the like dream sequences and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, certain characters are more on a spiritual level in terms of drive, and Batman's one of those characters, honestly. So what's super cool about the Joker movie, it's cool of WB to do that, because they pretty much screwed up Justice League. They just screwed that one up. Yeah. But what's cool about this Joker is that as of right now, they claim it's not tied to any other Batman movies. It's like its own movie, which is pretty cool. And all of DC's characters have done much better in that format. Like,
I was going to say,
Batman.
The solo films, just in DC in general, have been, well, I mean, you love them or hate them, but as far as money goes, they've been far more successful and more well received than the Justice League.
I mean, if you don't like the Nolan trilogy, you're a psychopath.
Oh yeah,
well, that's pretty much.
Do you even include that in like the modern day DC? I feel like there's like some separation.
That's the thing, is like they're like trying. It seems like they're trying to create what the Marvel universe, cinematic universe, has in the DC, but Nolan and the Joker and these one-offs are not included in that at all.
Yeah.
And supposedly the new Batman movie with Twilight.
Robert Pattinson.
Yeah. Supposedly that's separate. But I have a theory, depending on how well Joker does, they're probably going to tie those together in some way. But so what DC did, so what Zack Snyder did, the director of Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, he was an art director, and he and Nolan worked really hard together on Man of Steel to create a movie that was like its vision and its feel, not to be like the MCU, Marvel Cinematic Universe. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was an intentional decision. But Warner Brothers sees, like how much money Marvel's cranking out. So like, oh shoot, we need to like switch this up. So they, axe Zack Snyder and go for the like Justice League route. And as we see, that's like using diesel fuel on like a Prius. You know what I mean? It just doesn't work.
Yeah.
If they had reworked their groundwork a bit, maybe it would. But it's a totally different vehicle. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So that's the thing, is like Marvel had 11 years
they
worth
did
of
this slowly.
Emotional groundwork that they were laying.
Which is awesome. Yeah. That's an awesome thing. I'm not trying to discredit the Marvel movies.
No, I just think that might be where DC made their mistake, is that they tried to jump into it too quickly. It wasn't their place.
And the groundwork they were setting was not that pace of a thing. It was supposed to be a lot of slow-mo, and a lot of... If you watch Batman vs. Superman and Man vs. Steel, regardless of how you feel about the movies, they go for some really creative shots.
Yeah, a lot of stunning visuals.
Yeah, just like visuals. Yeah. Shoot.
This
is superheroes,
Yeah. And what's funny is it feels like at the beginning of the Marvel run, they were somewhat overshadowed by DC as far as because Iron Man and Dark Knight came out the exact same summer. And I think Iron Man came out maybe a month or two before Dark Knight. But of course, everyone knows, Dark Knight went on to earn over $1 billion, and Heath Ledger won an Oscar, and like the whole world just went crazy for it. And so I'm sure from DC's perspective, they're like, Batman Begins was good. Dark Knight, trumped Iron Man. Like, we're in good shape. And then Marvel just like took it to 11.
Yeah. They went the slow route. Yeah. Sure.
But
which is pretty cool.
That was the thing about Endgame. is that they had emotional payoffs from 10 years ago.
Years.
Like stuff that literally I didn't even know I was emotionally invested in. And then you're sitting there and you're like, oh my gosh, like you're getting hit with this.
It's this moment where you're genuinely like, I care about this more than things in my life.
This
has been building more than anything else in my life, to be honest.
Crazy.
For 10 years.
Oh, it's set, and I like no other franchise has done that.
Yeah,
it's pretty
crazy.
Epic. And that's their thing. That's something they did.
But I think DC's doing some, I mean, I thought Wonder Woman was fantastic.
Awesome.
It was very
I think this Joker film is going to be great. I think they've got some, they're getting it on straight. I think part of the problem too is so many people have tried to emulate Chris Nolan's style a little, and it's like there's one Chris Nolan. It's
there's one MCU. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You need to do what works for you. And what works for DC are these really strong solo films. They can approach a connecting story later. I think.
Yeah.
But if they need to work on making these individual, because they have honestly richer characters. Written in terms of how they're written than
DC does.
More than Marvel. That's also one of their mistakes is Marvel intentionally like threw out characters you didn't know a lot about so that there wouldn't be so much like outrage if they didn't like it.
It's true.
And DC's like Superman, Batman versus Superman.
Yeah.
Wonder Woman was great.
Yeah.
So we'll see what they do. I'm super pumped for these more artsy, less pressure, so they're able to flex their artistic skills a bit.
Yeah.
And then I always say movies are it's a combination of every art form. You know what I mean? When you look at the success of The Dark Knight, like Heath Ledger was awesome. People always talk about that, but he wasn't all that made that movie great. You know, the writing and pacing was just, so good, you know?
I'm excited. And it's going to be interesting to see because Joaquin Phoenix has never been like this, franchise guy per se. Yeah. He definitely has that feel of like an indie kind of B actor, not in his talent, but in like what he the projects he likes to tackle. He doesn't like from what I can tell. He
likes the more artsy, creative one.
He chose this intentionally. He's never been this skinny too, which is freaky. I haven't seen the second trailer, so but
it's crazy. So outside of comic book world, like what is do you have any inspirations for directors that you love to watch the movies, or do you have any favorite movies?
Again, for favorite movies for me, it's sort of a tier thing. So I have like movies that are in my top, favorite movies ever, and then like second tier favorite movies ever. I have movies that I watch because they're just unbelievably well made, and the movies I watch because I just like them, So it's a big back and forth. But think about a perfect movie. This is random, but I think about Prestige by Christopher Nolan.
Yeah.
Just because I think it's rare that you see a movie in any circumstance that pretty much perfectly nails everything, except for possibly racial diversity. But that movie just hit everything on the head so well. And again, ends it with that strong catharsis.
And what's funny is that movie, and I love that film. And when the twist ending happened, I mean, you're just like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it. And then you just see it every time. You're like, how did I miss that?
That's one of the few twists that like truly knocked the breath out of me. It's rare for me to like actually be surprised by a twist, but that got me.
Man, it was so good. But the irony is that's like critically his worst reviewed film, which is still good. Yeah. I mean, Christopher Nolan, The Prestige.
But like Christopher Nolan's
films, The Prestige, it was like 74, 70 or something like that, which is still good. Yeah, or high 60s maybe. But it's I can't believe it didn't.
Really?
Yeah, it didn't get better.
76, man.
I thought it was way better than that.
I wonder why. I'd like to get to know why they thought.
Anyway. But Prestige is a great film.
And again, there's different tiers of movies. There's movies that are designed to make you question life and to make you, want to stand for something good and all different things. But I think in the tier that film is chosen, which was, he was essentially making a metaphor for filmmaking, was what the whole movie was. Like you have the turn and the this and then that.
Yeah.
So he went for a mystery suspense category. And in that category, I think it was just perfect. But in terms of other movies, I just love movies. That's what it comes down to for me, honestly, is I just love movies. Yeah. I'll watch anything. If it's good, I don't care about the genre. I just don't care. I try to go to a movie every week. So
I think it's very important to, and I don't do this enough, but to watch things in different genres.
Yeah.
Especially ones that you may not be interested in.
Yeah.
As especially as filmmakers,
Yeah.
because we're like, we want to be better storytellers.
Yeah.
And you can borrow, and like, just because you're making a comedy doesn't mean you can, or a horror movie, you can't borrow from comedy. Some of the best,
important.
like, comedic
Jordan
hits,
Peele.
yeah, have been like great horror movies.
Yeah.
Well, it
Some of
activates
funniest
the
stuff.
same bit of your mind, comedy and horror, which is interesting.
Really?
Yeah. It's the same sort of adrenaline rush.
Huh.
I also think those are the two hardest to write. If you think about like a 2-hour long bit is essentially what a comedy is.
Yeah.
Or it's really hard to be genuinely scary, more than just like, rah, gotcha. But you wouldn't be like, that guy's scary. You're like, that guy's annoying, you know?
Yeah.
But like, it's difficult.
Go away.
That's hilarious.
It's difficult to be genuinely scary.
Or
Honestly,
gimmicky, like
Yeah,
jump scares that are nothing. There's so many of those. But like, yeah, exactly.
And there are always birds flying away.
Yeah, birds flying or like
That's
random
stupid,
stuff. Yeah. Why'd you enter the room like that? Why'd you just yell as you came into the room? Just knock like a normal person.
like a normal human being.
But like building suspense and like, I think creepy is better than the startle.
Yeah,
you know?
to capture something genuinely scary is very difficult, and yeah, I long for that just because it's so difficult. I just think that's such.
Have you seen The Haunting of Hill House on Netflix?
Yeah, that's a perfect.
That was.
example.
I'll be honest. I'm weak.
Okay.
There's 10 episodes. I got through 5, and like I loved it from a filmmaking perspective. I loved it from an acting. Everything from a technical perspective was awesome, but it got a little intense for me. I was like, man, I'm a guy that if I watch something scary, like I can't sleep for a little while. I eventually get to sleep, but it like messes with me. So I had to take breaks in between watching those types of things.
Yeah,
but it was so good though what I saw.
Yeah.
So did you see the episode that was all one sustained shot? I think it's either episode 5 or 6, but they never cut the entire episode.
Are
the
you
whole
serious?
45-minute long.
No like hidden cuts or anything?
Mm-mm.
Wow.
They just maintain it.
Wow.
It is
What?
so sick.
That's like an hour or 45
it's like
minutes.
a straight up like play you're watching.
That is nuts.
Yeah. And they manage scares.
It must have been 6 because I got to 5. I don't remember that.
Can you imagine the production on that? Like,
yeah, it's
not
painful
like-
to think about.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it was handheld. Was it? Could you tell? It was on a gimbal
It
or
must
something.
have been a steady cam of some sort.
Yeah,
I would think. It was pretty wide. It stayed pretty wide.
yeah.
Well, it was
You had,
interesting.
like actors having to come in and out.
Yeah.
and then like set design.
Yeah.
And if
I
any
bet-
point in time you mess up, you have to
You have to
restart.
restart.
Like, well, screw
Yeah.
me.
Yeah. I wonder if they like had to switch camera operators at one point. Like,
sure
just
they had to
40
pass it
minutes
over.
of holding a steady cam. Like,
Yeah.
that would be
It
rough.
was funny too because you could see who the better actors were. Like the main dude, what's his name? He was in Game of Thrones. I don't remember.
I can't remember his name either.
But he was lagging a little bit in that episode.
Was
like,
he?
in terms of his
Really?
acting, you're like, oh, okay. You're
yeah.
not a theater guy.
Yeah. You're not pure.
Back to the passing the camera over. There's you all watch Daredevil, the Netflix series.
I
I
saw
watched
the
some of
first
it.
season.
It's incredibly good. I think that's the best superhero stuff
Yeah.
out right now.
And it got canned.
It got canceled. But
Did it
season
really?
3 had, not for money.
Oh.
It was the second highest grossing thing on Netflix.
Then why?
No one
What?
really knows, but they're hoping it'll get picked back up by somebody.
Yeah.
But so there's an episode in season 1, episode 2, which y'all both would have seen. But that hallway fight scene, that's all one sustained cut, one sustained shot.
Oh,
So they literally, if you watch the behind the scenes, there's a point where he like throws a guy through a door. So they pass the camera off to somebody else who,
Yeah.
it's just like, oh,
It's
God.
that
fight scene.
honestly, I love that stuff, and that's why I love cinematographer Chivo.
Yeah.
And if you don't know who he is, he's a 3-time Oscar-winning cinematographer. He's worked with a bunch of like Guillermo del Toro, or not, maybe not del Toro, but some of the other Mexican filmmakers, and like films like Gravity. The first 15 minutes of Gravity are just that one. It's just,
He's
and
gotta
then
be my
Children of
favorite
Men,
cinematographer.
that 12-minute nonstop. I
Wait,
mean, like,
he also did all of Terrence Malick's films, which are
Yeah.
all natural light
Yeah.
and really like improvised.
Revenant
Mhm,
was all
Revenant.
natural light. Yeah,
He's just
Birdman had like
dumb
a.
good.
I think that one did have a hidden cut, but there was like
yeah, it had like
half an hour. Or so. It was something
It had a
ridiculous.
few, but each one of those, I mean, they go around a real mirror at one point. It wasn't a fake mirror. It's like the things they're able to pull off are
That's
just
just
like
crazy.
make you want to
So
cry.
Yeah.
We just saw one, like I was watching this video that was just a bunch of awesome techniques and things like that. And they did a camera handoff through a car window. So,
Oh yeah, yeah.
and they handed it in, and it's crazy because the car's empty except for the driver. And so they go through, and the guy was dressed up as the passenger seat. and he
Oh,
he reached out and grabbed the camera and passed it through to the back seat. It was nuts.
It was like perfectly simple. He's just sitting back, and they literally just hand it to him,
and he grabs it and sits up, goes.
Anyway,
that was crazy.
We're getting a little off topic here, so let's
filmmaking techniques all day.
Yeah, we keep going. We can nerd out about that. So what's coming up for Little Rock Batman? Or not maybe just practically like I'm gonna be here, but even stuff like where do you want this thing to go in the future?
Yeah.
I guess I just want to write it wherever it'll go. I want to get back out there. The past few months, I've been not as active on my account, just several reasons. But yeah, I want to get back out there. I haven't been physically out there in a few weeks, so I'm excited to get back out there this summer and do some stuff. It's one of those things, you just take it a day at a time. I don't have just wild expectations in any direction, but in some ways that's the best place to be because anything's a happy surprise, as what's his name? Bob Ross would say. Happy mistake.
I never thought we'd quote Bob Ross on this podcast.
That's great. Well, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
That's a nice surprise in and of itself.
Are you going to Arkansas Comic-Con?
Yeah, that's where Kevin Conroy will be. So
when is that?
See you soon, September
7th.
So this episode will come out before it? Or around the same time?
It'll be after.
It'll be after.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
congrats on Arkansas Comic-Con.
Yeah,
hope that went well.
It was great.
You did your speech
stuff
with Kevin Conroy?
Hung out with Kevin Conroy.
Best
it was
friends.
awesome.
He'll hear this and have to do it. We'll send it to him beforehand, so he'll have to do it with you.
Yeah. I'm telling you,
awesome.
I'll be broken if it doesn't work out.
Oh, that's great.
I'll be broken. I have so many bloody movies in my mind. Like almost any sentence activates something like from a movie, you know?
Yeah.
So like most of what I say isn't my own thoughts. It's just movies.
Yeah. That's sort of where we are too. You know, when we were in the theater today, we saw this trailer for this new Brad Pitt movie. I can't remember what, Add a Star or something like that. It was a space movie.
Yeah. Add a Star. Yeah.
And the only thing I could think about, looked to Lucas, I was like, that just looks like Interstellar 2.
Interstellar 2.
Yeah.
Just had that same vibe.
Which is so fun because we also were watching this movie, Chadwick, is that?
Chadwick Boseman, yeah.
Chadwick
21
Boseman.
Bridges.
21 Bridges.
Yeah.
And it starts out and it's like, my dad died and all this. I was like, it's Black Panther 2.
My father did.
Yeah. It's like, it's Black Panther 2, but he's a cop this time.
He's got the accent the whole time, too, in every film.
Don't attempt it, Kurt. Don't attempt it. You almost, I saw you going for it. I was like, don't do it. Nope. Nope. You can't do it.
If I didn't have my mask, I'm pretty solid at impressions, but I can't hear myself, so it won't be good.
What are you don't have to do them, but what do you think are your best impressions?
I have a painfully good Smeagol impression.
A painful.
It's pretty embarrassing.
Yeah.
That's cool.
That was
pretty good.
Big Lord of the Rings fan?
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
I think that's the most. What am I saying?
Gold standard.
No, it's consistently good trilogy.
Oh yeah.
Like it only picks up steam, which especially nowadays where everything's a sequel or a prequel or something.
Yeah.
We were literally just talking about this the episode before this one, because that's my favorite movie. And I saw it for the first time and was like, that's the first movie I remember seeing and being like, wow, this is what movies can do.
This
like,
is everything.
Yeah.
Even by now, the production quality of it, even now is, I don't watch anything and I'm like, that's like Lord of the Rings. It's like, this is just everything.
Yeah. Well, and it's so crazy to go back and watch. There's only a few films that you can go back and watch and are like, that looks good.
Like 20 years
even
later.
Now. Yeah.
Including Smeagol. Gollum still looks good.
Oh yeah, he does.
I mean, it's incredible how innovative. I mean, you had George Lucas with ILM that really set the bar, but I think Peter Jackson and Weta with Lord of the Rings just took it to a whole new level. Yeah.
King Kong is not talked about enough, but the production on that is insane.
I don't know why. I don't know.
I will say,
I don't know why more people don't like it.
It is a long movie that doesn't need to be that long.
Yeah.
They could have tightened that up a little bit, but
yeah,
like you said, visual effects they look great in it.
It would be a bloody good Netflix series if it had come out now. You know what I mean? Because that's how Peter Jackson rolls. He doesn't do short movies, but that works really well in the Netflix format where you can put out 10 episodes or something.
Yeah. So people can find you at the Little Rock Batman.
Yeah, the Little Rock Batman.
Yeah, the Little Rock Batman on Instagram. Do you have are you on any other social platforms or anything?
Not really. I like kind of low key tried Facebook a couple years ago and fell off it, but because I don't know how to use Facebook.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Awesome.
Instagram's the place to go.
Oh yeah.
Awesome. And then you can also find him wandering around Little Rock.
Wandering around downtown Little Rock, yeah.
And you did see him at Comic-Con last week.
That was me. If you're from New York, you saw me there too. That was cool. As soon as I stepped in New York Comic-Con, someone was like, "Are you Little Rock Batman?" And I was like, "Yes, I am."
What? Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is
Come
crazy.
Yeah, it was cool.
Hey, the community that is in, I remember someone saying this, I'm going to butcher this, but someone said like, people need to operate like community-wise like gamers. Because they all have to rely on one another and they all have to. But I feel like the comic book world is sort of the same thing. It's like there's a community there, maybe not the same as gamers.
Yeah.
I'm not a gamer, so I wouldn't know. But it feels like there's like a rich community there of people like you would never ever relate to this person or know this person any other way other than that
nerd
you love
kingdom,
Batman.
Like nerd community is going to
Nerd
take
squad.
over everything.
Yeah. Dude, thanks so much for coming on. This has been a bunch of fun. And we wish you the best for everything going on.
Thanks a lot.
Hopefully we'll see you wandering the streets,
Let me
protecting
know
the world.
Let me know if you ever need a Robin.
Yeah.
He'd love to be here, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Awesome.
You know, we need to have like you guys have seen the How It Should Have Ended series on YouTube.
I would love to do that. I've thought about that a lot.
We should just have like go record this in a diner and just have all of the Little Rock superheroes there.
Yes. Yeah. We'll just
Yeah,
be
I
in
would
the
love to
booth.
do that.
That would be so great.
We need to get a Little Rock Superman and you
Because
and him
I'm
sit on.
Batman.
Yeah.
You sit on opposite sides. I love the episode where like, yeah, you're Bruce Wayne. What? No. How'd you know that?
No.
How do you know that?
You want to know my secret identity?
You're Bruce Wayne. Awesome.
Oh, so good.
Dude, thanks for coming on. This has been fun.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Awesome. Bye.
See you guys.